Hi, I'm Frank Rumbauskas from NeverColdCall.com. There is a principle I've heard explained by many people in many different settings called the reality factor. I think the reality factor is very important in the sales world, and I'm here today to talk about it and talk about why. Well, first of all, what is the reality factor? The reality factor simply says that reality is what it is. You cannot change reality. You have two choices. You can either work with reality to improve, to become successful, or you can go against reality. The reality factor says that the result of going against reality is pain. So let's look at that as it applies to sales today and a lot of the common beliefs that are out there. The first truth, the reality factor says that cold calling destroys your status, is a business equal, and makes you look desperate. Okay, that's a known fact. Anybody who is a top sales pro, who's very experienced in sales, people like myself who have used my techniques understand that cold calling really does destroy your status as a business equal and make you look like someone who's got nothing better to do but to go out and scrape up some business. So you got two choices. You can go with reality and do something better than cold calling. Or you can ignore reality, continue the belief that cold calling works, continue to destroy your status as a business equal, and create the impression that you have nothing better to do but to go out and cold call because nobody wants to work with you. Another truth out there that the reality factor says is that sales is not a numbers game and cold calling is a waste of time. That's reality. So again, you have two choices. You can either go with reality, accept that sales is not a numbers game, ditch cold calling, and implement self-marketing techniques, things that you can do to build an endless supply of hot leads that come to you, or you can ignore reality. You can continue to believe the myth that sales is a numbers game, make cold call after cold call after cold call with no results, no sales, and a commission check that's not as big as what you want. Now, another reality that we have to accept is that cold calling does not generate the qualified leads we all need to succeed. Again, you have two choices. You can accept that, you can adapt and change, and you can implement self-marketing techniques, do things that generate leads for you, get people to come to you rather than you having to call people at random hoping that something will stick. Or, again, you can ignore reality, the result being pain. In this case, the fact that you get appointments through cold calling with people who are not qualified, who waste your time, who meet with you because they've got nothing better to do. Maybe they're a low-level office manager who feels important meeting with salespeople. Maybe it is a business owner who takes cold calls because they're not that busy, which is never a good sign. Whatever the case may be, continuing to generate leads and appointments through cold calling continues to get you nowhere. So again, going against reality equals pain. Top sales pros today, they don't fight reality and live in a fantasy world where they believe old myths, old ideas, things that just don't work anymore in today's economy. What they do is ditch the old ideas. They discard them. They get rid of them. They embrace new ideas, things that work, things that get results in today's economy, today's market, today's sales world. I once heard an old story about Albert Einstein. He had a student assistant who worked for him. One day, the student assistant came in and said, "Professor Einstein, do you have the test ready for the next period's class?" And Mr. Einstein said, "Yes, here you go." And the student assistant looked at it and said, "Well, Professor Einstein, this is the same test you gave last week." And Einstein said, "Yes, it is, but the answers are different this week." The same thing is true in sales. We have all the same challenges we had 10, 20, 50 years ago. Selling never changes. Human nature is human nature. It doesn't change. I've always said selling is selling. What has changed is the market, the circumstances, the economy, the fact that we've gone from the industrial age to the information age. That is a huge change and a huge shift. So remember, the challenges may be the same, but the answers are different. Cold calling is no longer an answer. Numbers game is no longer an answer. The answer now is to use proactive, intelligent, organized self-marketing techniques that get people calling you instead of you wasting your time calling people at random, people who are not qualified, who don't have an interest, who had a need and have already fulfilled it with someone else, and any number of other things that happen when you cold call but don't get a sale from it. For more information and to download the first 10 chapters of my Breakthrough Home Study course, Cold Calling is a Waste of Time, please visit NeverColdCall.com. Thank you.